Blaming YouTube for your woes and your channel's success is likely to be far less effective than just trying to change it. I'm the Chris who plays games. This is your CPG rant of the evening over the past 2 years. As I've wandered around the YouTube lands of the social media internets, I have found that many people are oftentimes, or always in fact, blaming YouTube for some perceived slight against their channel. Whether it is advertising-friendly choices, or whether it is number of views, or recommendations, or suggestions, or anything else like that, people are constantly saying, I am so angry because YouTube changed something. But here's the thing. YouTube is always changing something. Rather than sitting here and saying, YouTube changed something, I'm upset at them, and I am going to rant and rave, what you really need to do is figure out, is there anything better that I could do using the knowledge that I have? And when I look around at the people who are complaining the most, what I see is people who are not doing the best that YouTube would recommend these days. And so while I certainly acknowledge that it is entirely possible they have very successful channels 3 years ago, and I will certainly acknowledge that there have been changes that affected their channel over the past 3 years, changes that YouTube made, changes that YouTube maybe didn't communicate or didn't do anything else like that, all of that is true, but it doesn't change the fact that whining about it is much less likely to be effective at changing it than changing something. In many cases, people realize and recognize the common trends that YouTube creators who are seeing success have. They see things like more frequent uploads or less frequent uploads or longer uploads or shorter uploads or uploads about a topic or anything else like that, but they don't change their behavior. They say, this used to work for me 2.5, 3 years ago, and now it doesn't, and it's YouTube's fault. And while I'm certainly not going to sit here and say YouTube didn't change anything, or that YouTube isn't at fault even, what I am going to say is that sitting around and whining about it doesn't help you. Instead, what you need to do is adjust to the new normal. What you need to do instead is look around at what's being successful and try to work from that framework. And so recently, YouTube did a search and discovery update to their Creator Academy and talked about the fact that if you are looking to gain subscribers, talk about creating a routinely, repeatable show or something else like that that can go back and forth and that people want to subscribe to get the next episode of. And then I see people who aren't doing that and are complaining, I'm not gaining as many subscribers as I used to. Well, yeah, the whole site has changed. There's a massive new influx of content to this website every day. We've seen content go from 200 hours per minute to 400 hours per minute just over the course of 2 years, and probably higher than that now. And for you to say, well, things are different now than they were then, well, no shit, they're different now than they were then. There's probably 250 million new people on the platform, but more importantly, there's probably 2 times as much content being created every minute. Yes, shit is different. And the shit that used to just work 3 years ago won't work now. But don't sit around and cry about it. Figure out what does work now and take advantage of it. Take advantage of creating videos about site-wide trends in order to expose your content to a new audience. Take advantage of the tips and tricks that other people who are being successful give you. Take advantage of the information that's available now, because at the same time, the amount of information about, or the number of videos being uploaded has gone up, so has the amount of information out there from successful YouTubers sharing their information, for YouTube sharing its approaches, from everything else like that. And so yes, in the past, maybe you got 4 videos in the suggested list that were just coming from you and wouldn't be from any other creator. But the reality is that if what you found is that the people who are being recommended on your videos are all not you, it's because you're not creating other content related to what you're doing. And when I look at people who are creating daily vlogs and saying, well, the other videos are all just about the topic of my vlog and aren't pictures of me. Yeah, you're right. Except for people who are routine consumers of your content, it's very likely that the people that suggested videos are going to be other content that isn't yours, because on a day-to-day basis, your content differs. And when I see people making top 10 lists about different kinds of topics and saying, I'm not being suggested for my other top 10 lists, well, yeah, that's because your other top 10 lists aren't related, other than being top 10, and there's a bajillion of those. And when people come to me and they say, well, I'm not getting as many views per subscriber as I used to get. Well, yeah, because you've been building a subscriber base over the past 4 years, and many of those subscribers who subscribed to you 4 years ago don't even watch YouTube anymore. It's not that YouTube is hiding your content. It's that many of those subscribers just don't care. So pretend, just for a moment, that you're starting from scratch, only you've got the benefit of having 100,000 people watch just about anything you put out because you've built a subscriber base of millions, of which 1 to 10% are super hardcore, diehard fans. And look at that and figure out, okay, how can I take advantage of that? What have I done that's successful that I might want to put in front of new eyes? What can I do that's special about me that's going to get me something that's ongoing and beneficial and successful? What can I do to improve the content that I show to the world? What can I do to be more successful? The same way someone who's starting a new channel today, if what you're finding is your current content programming strategy isn't working, flip the fucking table. Don't come to me and argue or whine about how only 1% of your viewers see your shit. No, 1% of your subscribers are not seeing your shit. 17% of your subscribers are seeing your shit, and 16% are clicking off, and the other 83% have wandered off to different accounts that they created 3 years ago. Or they're doing something different, and they're not interested in what you were offering. Think like TV seasons. There's very few TV shows that are still on TV the same way after more than 50 years. And that's half the lifetime of TV. There's very few YouTube channels that are as effective as they were 5 years ago doing the same thing. And that's half the lifetime of YouTube. Leave It to Beaver wouldn't be on TV today. The fact that Simpsons is still on is a problem in and of itself, but if you look to other things that have been out there, look at something like Futurama. Futurama had every 3 seasons would have to change formats, would have to change owners, would have to go and make movies instead of TV shows, and then back to TV shows. Constant change is the watchword of success. And so every 3 years, a TV show comes on, and then it goes off, and then you get another show in its place, moving towards an ever-evolving set of norms and practices and everything else like that. There are very few TV shows that have been out there and successful for 5 years of the number that are totally on the air. Game of Thrones, one of the most successful TV shows of, I don't know, all time as far as I can tell, is one that is only going to be on TV for 7 seasons. I think it's going to be a weird 8 because they're going to split season 7 in half. But you get my point that even the most successful creations out there are not going to be on there nearly as long as some channels have been running on YouTube. Yeah, it's different now. It's different now when there's 400 hours of TV being or video being uploaded every minute. It's different now when TV shows are your competition. It's different now when you've got people who are investing heavily in products that they're releasing. And you're not going to be able to do the same thing. The audience changes. The consumption patterns change. It's different now because people are watching more than 50% of YouTube videos on mobile phones. It's different now. But the solution is not to rail against YouTube, accepting the fact that it's different and making changes to support that. The idea should not be that if 50% of my views are on mobile and people don't watch long things on mobile, we should abandon mobile playback. No! What we need to do is accept that the world has changed and change with it. Create a new product. Create a compelling product. One that competes for the eyeballs and attention of the people who are out there and consuming your content now. And so you can grow it to people who aren't yet. Because that's where you're going to succeed in making those new subscribers, not the ones you already have. You know, senators and congressional reps oftentimes say that they have to be out there earning $10,000 a day in fundraising, otherwise they will lose their next race. As YouTube creators, we need to be doing the same thing. We need to be going out there and saying, I need to be gaining 10% of my subscribers every month or I'm going to lose the next race. I need to be growing the number of people who care about my content by finding new audiences constantly, otherwise I will stagnate and fall behind. Don't rail against YouTube's changes. Deal with it. I'm the Chris who plays games. This has been your CPG rant of the evening.